This time we are going to talk about meteors. And eventually I'm going to explain the difference between a meteor, a meteoroid, and a meteorite. But what is a meteor? Meteors are tiny little small objects that are orbiting all over in the solar system. They are smaller than asteroids. Some of them, most of them, are about the size of grains of sand. The larger ones can be about half the size of a football field. But space is absolutely jam-packed with these little bits of dust. They are little grains of dust and dirt that are flying all over the place. So that's basically what a meteor is. So bits of dust up to small rocks, very, very small rocks. So when we start talking about these meteoroids, where did they come from? Well, when you have asteroids that collide, there is going to be dust and debris and small rocks that are thrown everywhere. And those dust and debris and rocks that are thrown everywhere, they continue to orbit in similar orbits to the original asteroids that impacted. And that's the source of these meteors. They're kind of the leftover debris when you have a collision. When one of these bits of rock or dust enters the Earth's atmosphere, so we have our beautiful planet Earth surrounded by its atmosphere, and when one of these objects goes through the atmosphere, it compresses the air in front of it because it's coming in at tremendously high speeds, very, very, very fast. And that compression of the air in front of it is going to make it glow. There is going to be a lot of heat, there is going to be a lot of friction, and it's going to produce a big ball of light. So when you have a meteoroid, when it's up in space, when it comes into the atmosphere, it becomes a meteor. Most meteors are going to burn up on entry. They encounter so much heat and friction in the Earth's atmosphere that they're just basically gone. They turn back into bits of dust, and that dust kind of distributes through the atmosphere as it goes. But some of them actually do reach the ground, and we'll talk about those in a second. Folks have a tendency to call meteors shooting stars. They are not shooting stars. They look, because these you do see going zoom across the sky. People use that term, but please be aware it has nothing to do with stars. There are no stars associated with meteors. Now, once one of these small rocks actually hits the Earth, it turns into a meteorite. This is the fragment that is actually left after the impact, when it actually hits the Earth. Annually, about 10,000 tons of matter hit the Earth. So the Earth is actually getting a bit heavier all the time because it is continuously being bombarded by these small meteorites. This is a picture of the Hoba meteorite in Namibia in Africa. It consists of about 60 tons of iron. Lots and lots of iron. Many, many meteorites contain lots and lots of iron. And this is the largest fragment of a meteorite that we have ever found on planet Earth. You may have gone out some night to watch a meteor shower, or maybe by happy accident you happen to see a meteor shower. Meteor showers occurred when you have multiple meteors that appear at a very fast rate. How fast is a fast rate? Maybe one every few minutes at their peak. Sometimes you can have one per minute. And they all kind of appear to come from the same spot in the sky. Now, if they appear to come from the same spot in the sky, that point of origin is called their radiant point. And at different times of the year, different meteor showers are going to be visible in different radiant points. If these things are predictable, they are then named. And they are named for their radiant point, where they actually come from. This is a chart of some of the common meteor showers that we encounter. These are, for example, in August, there's the Perseids, and that is from Perseus, that constellation. In December, the meteors that we have a tendency to see are the Geminids coming from the constellation Gemini. November has got the Leonids and the Andromedads. These are from Leo and Andromeda. As you can kind of see the trend here, they are actually named for the constellation that was their their radiant point. They don't come from that constellation, they just appear to come from that section of the sky. In the set, for example, this photo down here in December, when the Geminids, these meteor showers appear to come from that neighborhood of the sky. So it actually produces these meteor showers, these clusters of meteors that we see, many of them very quickly. This occurs when the Earth is actually traveling through the debris trail of comets and other asteroids. So, for example, if here's the sun, the Earth is on orbit like this, around the sun, and in the past, I'm going to change colors in my pens, in the past, maybe there was a comet that had an orbit that went in this region. Comets have those huge, big dust tails and ion tails, and they leave behind them debris. When the Earth flies through the debris field left by that comet's tail, that is going to produce our meteor showers. Most of these, as I mentioned, are micrometeors, meaning they are the size of little grains of dust. If you wanted to view meteor showers, when's the best time to do it? If you can find a meteor shower that occurs with a moonless night, time of a new moon, when there's not going to be a lot of extra light, after midnight, so it's good and dark, and you need to be in the country a long way from light pollution. So if you go to a city park, not going to have too good a luck. But if you go way out in the country, much better odds of seeing meteor showers. So back to this chart of important meteor showers. With many of them, there are comets associated with the meteor shower. For example, the Ursids, which is from Ursa Major. Ursas are due to a comet called Comet Tuttle. The Perseids are from the comet Swift-Tuttle, and if you remember, comets are named for the individual or individuals who discover them. So they are predictable, and if you pay attention or if you really enjoy them, it can make for a really fun evening of sitting around a bonfire, telling stories, and watching meteors. Okay, meteoroid, meteor, meteorite. What's the difference and how do you keep the name straight? Here's how it works. When it is flying up in space, it is a meteoroid, kind of like an asteroid. How do I keep it straight? When they are flying up in space where the droids are, then it is a meteoroid. That's how I keep it straight. When it is falling through the sky, it is a meteor because it is coming to meteor you. Yeah, that's a bad joke. When it actually hits the Earth, it transforms, its name goes from meteor into meteorite. Why? Because it's right here next to you. And I hope that helps because for me, I find those all kind of tricky. Okay, that's going to end this bit and we're going to come back and talk about what happens when these things hit the Earth.